Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Plum Crazy adventure. As you can see, I am alone for the moment, so I'm attempting to fix some things, and I can't decide what I like and what I don't like. So, hopefully, I'll be able to get through this with you guys fairly quickly. But hello, happy Sunday. It doesn't look like I'm too awful late. If people can just comment for me, let me know that you can hear me okay. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, be sure to hop into that chat for me and let me know where you're from, where you're watching from. And nothing I'm talking about tonight has anything to do with the hot air balloons, but it's one of my favorite backgrounds and I never use it. So here we go. That's why I'm using it this evening. And if you happen to be on our Facebook, you can see that it's not very long. So just don't look from like that down. So, all right. Hopefully, we'll start getting some people in here. I see a couple people on Facebook. Just need to have a few people coming in on our YouTube. And we will get started. So, I've got some notes, but before I get into all of that, I did want to say thank you so much to the 479 subscribers that we have on our YouTube channel. You guys are absolutely rock stars. Thank you. I've actually been answering some questions today. People have posted on our videos. I love it when you guys ask me questions because if I don't know the answer, which there was one that I did not today, I will find out for you. So I actually had somebody asking about using Easy Pass while you are parking at Pittsburgh Airport. And at first I was like, no, that's not something that you could do. And then I started doing a little bit of research because it was an intriguing question. And that's something that we're going to be doing a little bit of research on, and we're going to be adding to our updated Pittsburgh Airport videos. So again, I really appreciate it when you guys put in those comments, whether it's a question that you have or just general remark. I'm always very appreciative, and I try to get to those as much as I possibly can. So thank you for that. But looks like we're starting to get a couple people on both. So let's go ahead and get started because I got a lot to talk about and not a whole lot of time to do it. So spring break, that's actually coming up for us in the Western Pennsylvania region. We generally have our spring breaks from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday for most of our school districts. So that is the week of March 25th. And that's really coming up. I mean, there's not a whole lot of time to get things planned and hashed out, and let's get you on that trip. So, hi, Deb. Thanks for joining us there on Facebook. So if you haven't started thinking about spring break, we need to get you taken care of because it's really big travel season this year and things are booking up and selling out. And we want to make sure that you have a fantastic spring break vacation. So I thought, what better way to do that than kind of do a little bit of research and see what the top 2024 destinations are for spring break for this year. And overall, several, I was like, yes, totally. I totally see where that is accurate. And then there were a few where I was like, oh, that's different. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So obviously the very first one and the most popular one for 2024, I don't think comes as any surprise to anybody, and that is going to be Mexico. Now, for the sake of, like, when I was doing my research and stuff, they had Mexico lumped in. So it could be Los Cabos, it could be Tulum, the hotel zone, Cozumel. It was really a lump sum of, hi, Kim, thanks for joining us up on Facebook. It was really a lump thing of all of the different places that you can go within the country of Mexico. Now, for our conversation, I'm just going to be talking about Cancun because generally, I would say probably 80% of the people that I work with, they can go out of Pittsburgh or Cleveland because they live fairly close to where we do, which is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the most popular hotel resorts that I have. Cornerville's in the house. Thanks for letting me know that, Deb, down on YouTube. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the resorts that are the most popular that I tend to send people to in the Cancun area because that tends to be where my charters are from. And so a lot of people take advantage of those charter flights because they're nonstop from Pittsburgh or Cleveland straight down to Cancun. And then they hop on that charter flight and they come right back home. They don't have to worry about transferring planes or anything in Miami or Chicago or anything. It's a straight down and a straight back, which is what makes it such a great destination if that's something that you're thinking about for summer travel. Unfortunately, your spring break weeks are pretty much booked out and solid. You're not going to be able to get onto a charter flight. But I did want to mention that. These nonstop charters from Pittsburgh in particular, you can do 7-night charters, which are Saturday to Saturday. So that's a really great time to be able to take advantage of your vacation days. Or you could do a 6-night, which would be Sunday through Saturday if you didn't want to add on that 7th night, needed a little bit of extra time maybe to get yourself packed up and ready to go rather than getting up super early on Saturday morning after working a full shift on Friday. So a couple of really great options for nonstops out of Pittsburgh to go to Cancun, Mexico. And there are some really great savings if you decide to book your package with me going to Cancun. Now, it is on select resorts, but I would say that there's a majority that I can do this with where you can get savings of up to 40% off of the resort. So your hotel stay, you can get a $200 resort credit with worth of coupons. So if they have additional amenities that you may have to pay for, that $200 can go towards a lot of those, which is really fantastic. And then you get other exclusive perks. For instance, some of them I'm able to get you free upgraded transfers. Other places, there's certain things where I'm able to get you some pretty exclusive perks, especially based off of the room category that you're booking. So definitely reach out. Now, my favorite resort that I absolutely love in Mexico is actually an adult all-inclusive, and that is going to be Unico 2087. It is on the pricier side, but let me tell you, once you do Unico once, that is the one that you're going to want to go to over and over and over again. So that is probably going to be my favorite for adult only that's in Cancun. And then I also really like the Hard Rock in Cancun. I know that it's been there a while. Hello from Reno. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I know it's a little bit of an older resort as far as it's been there a while, but it really has stood the test of time. There's tons of things for your teenagers to do. And let's face it, that is the hardest bracket for us to be able to sell to. I've been a parent of teenagers and I know what a pain they can be. Hard Rock Cancun, they're going to have plenty of things that they're going to want to do. So it's going to be a really great fit for you and your family. And then if you don't have teenagers, but maybe you have toddlers or like elementary school age kids, and you're kind of like, okay, I want to take them, I want to do something. Cancun is fitting in your budget. Let's look at Moon Palace because they have a lot of really great kids clubs that you can do with your children, as well as just like splash pads and other things that you can do besides the beach. So Moon Palace is probably my favorite one for kids. Moving right along because I have a giant list here. I don't know how many of them I'm going to get through. I may have to make this a part 2, but the number 2 destination is Europe. And again, this is a really big, broad thing, and I thought it was really interesting that they were like, yes, Europe is the number 2 destination. I mean, let's just name a continent almost, you know? So I thought that was interesting. So I kind of did a little bit more digging, and probably the number 1 destination for 2024, if you're thinking about going to Europe, is going to be Paris. Part of that is because the Summer Olympics this year, you're going to be in Paris. I would not touch trying to get into Paris during the Olympics. Things are booked out and things spread out through France and Italy, even into Spain and Portugal. They're all getting booked up and filled up, and it's really hard to find some availability because a lot of people that are going and doing something within the Summer Olympics are extending their stay. They're going to other countries. They're really experiencing everything the EU has to offer, which, I mean, let's face it, that's what I would do if I was going to be making that trip over. I would want to see more than just the Summer Olympics. But if you're thinking about going for your spring break, flights are going to be expensive, but maybe we can get you some great last minute deals. So in Paris, obviously, you've got the Eiffel Tower, you have the Louvre, you also have Luxembourg Gardens, and then my personal favorite, which is on our bucket list, we haven't done it yet, is Disneyland Paris, which is actually situated north of the city. So and it's not exactly one of those things where I would be like, yeah, like commute over for a half day or something like that. But we can get into that later. Another really popular destination for 2024 is going to be Rome. And at Rome, obviously, you've got the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, St. Peter's Basilica. You've also got Vatican City if you want to go see Sistine Chapel. There's so many different things that you can do within Rome. And Rome is actually a really great place if you're thinking about doing a cruise. There is it's I'm going to butcher it. Civitavecchia is the port, which they consider Rome. It's about a 45 minute train ride over to it, but you can do a pre or post cruise stay within Rome, see some of the sights and sounds, and then go on your cruise and be able to experience some other really, really great destinations over in Europe. The number 6 option was actually Barcelona within the Europe group. And I thought that was really interesting. This is actually a kind of a up and coming and really popular destination it's getting to be because it's one of the main ports for Virgin Voyages. And so you can actually fly out to Barcelona and be able to go to Gothic Quarter, go to Las Ramblas thoroughfare in order to get some really good food and drinks and just kind of explore the architecture. It's a really beautiful city. Oh my gosh. And then again, hop on that cruise and have an amazing vacation the Virgin Way. So that's a really great one if you don't have any kids. And then number 7 is Florence. I actually have people that will be going there in March, not during spring break, but they are going to be over there in March. And Florence is really great because for instance, there's the Galleria dell'Accademia, and that is where you're going to be able to see Michelangelo's David. And they also have the largest compilation of works by Michelangelo there. If that is something that you are into, you like fine art. There's also the Duomo. And then another thing that's pretty popular, like in most of the Italian cities and stuff, but I thought it was really interesting. There's a lot of different tours available where you get to do wine tasting, but you get to go to the wine window and you get to pick out, like order your wine and stuff. And there's literally a little window that you go to within on the side street and you get to get your glass of wine. So definitely a really cool thing that you can do while you are in Florence. The last one that I wanted to touch on really quickly, number 13 off of this list that I had found through Travel US News was Santorini. You've got Village Oya. You've also got the black sand beaches. I mean, Santorini is the one that has the whitewashed buildings with the bright blue roofs. It's the most picturesque place and probably what everybody thinks of when they think of Greece. You've also got ancient Thera if you are more into history and you're wanting to do something of that nature. So thought that was really cool. The number 3 option for spring break for 2024 is actually Tahiti. Now, I don't know about you. It is definitely on the list. I would love to see it, but I am not taking that plane ride and going to Tahiti for an overwater bungalow when there are so many different options. I can send you to Aruba and have a fantastic overwater bungalow that is semi-private. I can send you to Sandals Properties if you're adult and have overwater bungalows. We're not going to do underwater. That would be bad unless you are doing a scuba thing. There are those available. That'll be for another show. But I thought that it was really interesting to me that Tahiti was considered a spring break destination and was number 3 at that. So where is my sidekick? My sidekick is actually in the other room. He's handling some other things this evening for me. So he was not able to join me tonight, but don't you worry. He will be back next week. So Japan was number 4, and I thought this was so cool. I know there's a lot of influencers in the Disney forum that have really been hitting Tokyo Disney and Disney Sea really hard. I know Mammoth Club was just there in November. Theme Park Obsession, if you follow anything for Disneyland, he tends to do more California parks. He was just out there a couple of weeks ago. Ordinary Adventures has been out there, I think, twice in the past year. So I was all excited to see that Japan was on there. That is something that I am hoping I can start expanding into because other than knowing the Disney parks are there and having a little bit of knowledge because of Tokyo, like I don't know a ton about Japan, but that doesn't mean I don't want to learn. So if you're thinking about doing a Japan vacation, definitely reach out to me because I've already started doing some research and figuring things out. Love to help you with that. Orlando was, let's see, one, two, three, four. It was number five. Like, that is crazy to me that Orlando was number five for a spring break destination for 2024. Um, because all the deals that Disney has going on right now, obviously Disney is probably the most traveled theme park right now in the United States, possibly the world. So I was really surprised that that was happening. It's also Mardi Gras season at Universal Orlando, so that's a really popular thing that you can do. SeaWorld, they are having like good foods and things like that that they're going to be starting up shortly that are also kind of themed a little bit to Mardi Gras, but not nearly as heavily as what Universal does. So there's tons of things that you can do within the Orlando area. Again, like most of my shows are about that kind of stuff, so I didn't want to spend a ton of time on that tonight, only because, like I said, I talk about it all the time because I'm obsessed. Number six was actually Jamaica, and I thought this was really cool. Jamaica is one of those islands that's absolutely fantastic. The culture is incredible. The food's even better. I mean, you haven't had jerk chicken until you go to Jamaica and you have jerk chicken. I mean, am I right? Am I right? So the only thing with Jamaica that's a little bit different from some of these other international gateways is it's a little bit harder for my Pittsburgh market to get there. So airfare tends to be a little bit more expensive. The resorts tend to be slightly more expensive just because the conversion isn't as good as, for instance, Mexico or Punta Cana. So overall, your vacation tends to be a little bit more expensive, and therefore I end up having people that'll choose Punta Cana, Mexico, Puerto Rico, doing a cruise instead, rather than going to Jamaica. So I'm in that interesting market right here. If you are not in my Pittsburgh, Cleveland region market, definitely let me know because I might be able to get you a fantastic charter flight and get you into Jamaica much more reasonably than what we can right here. But as far as resorts go, there's a couple that are really great. There's the Royalton Negril, which is great for families, as well as Moon Palace. I mean, I think if anybody has done any amount of research on Jamaica, you've heard of Moon Palace. So definitely check that out and let me know if that's something that you think you might want to do because both of those resorts, I mean, two thumbs up, and it's only two because that's all the thumbs I have right now. So can't go stealing any more thumbs from Scott or Nick or anybody because nobody else is close by. If you're looking for more of an adult oriented vacation and you don't want to have a bunch of kids around, Sandals Ochi is a really great one because hello, I can sell sandals. I can actually sell sandals and couples resorts. So if that's something that you're thinking about, and then there's also Secrets Wild Orchid Montego Bay. That is another really fantastic adult-only property that I can send you to if you're thinking about going to Jamaica. The other great thing about Jamaica, they're really like the kings of having really great service and stuff while you're within the airport. Do not like goat milk that they serve, Mike said. Well, I can totally see where you would not like that. That's funny. But they're really at the top of their game, especially at the Montego Airport. They're recently just opened up in Kingston. The airport services and such. It's an additional cost, but it is so well worth it. Getting you used to have nude beaches. Deb, they still do in certain areas. That has not changed all that much. But we can definitely get those additional amenities for you if you're going to be going in and out of Jamaica. And then also they have some really, really, really great excursions, or if you just want to spend time at your beachfront destination and enjoy all the all-inclusive perks and amenities, we can definitely work on that for you too. Okay. The next one on the list, which I thought was really awesome, is Maui, Hawaii. And so instead of just like Hawaii in general, Maui is actually a really popular destination for 2024 because most of you remember last year they had those really catastrophic fires. And so they've been rebuilding. They're they're at a point where they are accepting tourists and stuff back. They need those tourism dollars in order to be able to help build up their infrastructure and really rebuild the island. So they're welcoming people with open arms. You just have to kind of be aware of there's going to be some things that are either not the same as what they were when you were there the last time, or you might see evidence of the damage and things, because it takes time for flora and fauna to be able to recover from something like that. So I was really excited to see that. Some of the most popular things that you could do as of right now, that are a little bit more exclusive to Maui, is there's the Molokini Snorkel Tour, obviously the Road to Hana. I think that's the most popular thing everybody thinks about when they think of Maui. There's also the Maui Ocean Center, which is a really great aquarium. It's the only one in the world that's dedicated to preserving Hawaii specific species, which I thought was a really cool thing. There's also the Jaws surf break. So even if you are not a big fan of like surfing for yourself, it's still really cool to be able to go out and see those big surf breaks out there. And the biggest one, the one that a lot of the professionals will use, is called Jaws. And so that's a really cool thing to go see. There's also the Oheo Gulch pools, or the 7 sacred pools, that you can go check out. Spearfishing is a really popular pastime. So there's plenty of things for you to be able to do as the island continues to rebuild. So I would say, by all means, let's get you there, and let's make sure that you guys have a fantastic time on Maui, and you kind of help the locals and stuff bring everything back to the way it was before the fires from last year. All right. So if you're thinking about it, I do have a couple of resorts that are open and ready for business, and one of them is the Sheraton Maui Resort and Spa. That's a really fantastic one. It's on the northern end, and it's a little bit set off from the some of the others that are in the area. So it has a really nice beach, and it's set up a little bit differently, so it feels a little bit more on its own, and kind of lush and prestigious compared to some of the others that are kind of built up on top of each other, just because of spacing requirements and stuff being on an island. There's also the Fairmont Kialani, and then there's the Four Seasons Resort Maui at Wailea. So there's definitely some great options if that's something that you're thinking about doing. Next on my list, might actually get through this list. That's crazy. See how much talking I can do? I hope that nobody's got a word counter on me. That would be very bad. So Puerto Rico actually hit the list. Puerto Rico, I think, is a really great destination if that's something that you're thinking about doing. You're wanting to dip your toes into doing something that's not stateside. It is a U.S. territory, so you don't have to have a passport. You're going to have a lot of English speaking, because it's a U.S. territory, and it's a really great cruise port, which is really fantastic if you're thinking about maybe there's a fantastic Disney Cruise Line itinerary that I've been looking at out of San Juan. So Scott, heads up, I've been looking at that one. I see a good rate pop up. Might be going to Puerto Rico. But there's other things that you can do too. For instance, there's Dorado Beach. There's also the St. Regis. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the resorts, not the things that you can do. All right. So obviously there's Old San Juan. That's probably the most popular thing that people are going to want to do when they go to Puerto Rico. There's also the El Morro. I cannot roll my R's. I apologize to any of you that can speak Spanish much better than me. That is a fortress that you can actually see that is close to the cruise ports. Very, very cool. There is also Casa Bacardi. They offer rum tours, and there's other rum places where you can go and you can have rum tours. So I thought that was a really great thing that you can do. A little bit different from what you can do here, where you go on like winery tours and things like that. Let's go drink some rum, right? So there's also the El Yunque National Forest. This is actually on our bucket list. This is something I've wanted to do for years. We have not had an opportunity to do so. And then, of course, Castillo San Cristobal is another really popular destination if you're into history and wanting to learn a little bit more about like Caribbean culture and such. So definitely a lot of things that you can do while you're in Puerto Rico besides just going on a cruise ship. And let me go ahead and get back to the resorts. So for instance, there is the Dorado Beach. So that is a really popular one. And then there's the St. Regis Bahia Beach Resort, and then Fairmont El San Juan. There's also a couple of little boutique places that you can check out that's within San Juan if you're not wanting to have one that's on the beach and kind of spread out and everything, we do have some other options for you. So we can definitely talk to you about those. Now, let me see here. Norway is our next to last one. And this one really surprised me because I'm familiar with Norway. It's actually a place that I would absolutely love to visit someday. I would never want to live there, but I want to see it. And so I thought it was really interesting that it came up within the like the top 10 spring break destinations for 2024. Now, some things that you can do there if you aren't as familiar with Norway. This is the home of the fjords. So there's several different ways that you can explore fjords, whether you're wanting to go on a cruise, go up in with some of the smaller ships. Hurtigruten is a really great cruise line company that I can send you on that'll take you up in to see the different fjords. There's also the Troll's Tongue or Trolltunga. So it's this literal like ledge that kind of reminds me of the Lion King and the ledge and stuff that they go out to, except it is a much bigger drop and it's right down into this valley. And apparently, all of these people that want to go to Norway are wanting to go to Norway because they are not afraid of heights and they're just wanting to like be like death defying and feel like they're flying the whole time, even though they're on solid ground, because everything is straight up and down, I swear. There's also the historic Briggen, and then there's a road trip of the Lofoten Islands, which is actually a really cool looking road trip. I would be all for that. And then Pulpit Rock, which I would not be all for because, again, these people think that it's fun to walk up to the edge and look down and it be like 500 feet to your death. And I'm just like, no, it's probably way more than that, actually. I didn't actually look to see how far it was because I was looking at the photo and I was getting dizzy. So I stopped looking at it. So Norway is a very, very cool destination. It is very colorful. It's really unique. It is not something that you would generally expect somebody to be like, yeah, I want to go there for spring break. So I was really glad to see that that was an option that people are flocking to and that their tourism is rising because it is a really fantastic destination that I don't think gets enough love. Now, the last destination that I want to talk about tonight, is Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. Now, this is probably my most popular asked one, but it was at the end of the list for top spring break destinations. So that just goes to show you what I had in my head and what people ask me about isn't always what like the national consensus is. So I thought that was really interesting. Now, I do have charters right now that are 7-night charters, so nonstop straight to Punta Cana. And those actually go on Saturday night or Saturday morning, and then they bring you back Saturday afternoon. Now, starting in May, we have this whole big thing start to open up. So towards the end of May, if you need to leave on a Saturday, they are going to have 5-night charters available. And then if you need to leave on a Thursday, they're going to have 3-night and 7-night. So maybe you want to do a long weekend, do that 3-nighter, kind of dip your toes in. Is this all-inclusive thing something that's going to be for me? And we can do it that way. And then Sunday nights, you're going to be able to do a 4, 6, or a 7-night charter flight. And so I'm really excited that we have all of those options going in and out of Pittsburgh International Airport for you to be able to go down and check out Punta Cana. Really kind of helps bring your costs down just a little bit, and also not having the added stress of, like I said, having a connection, whether it's Orlando or Miami or Norfolk, or not Norfolk, Baltimore, BWI, that was the one I was thinking of, or Chicago, or even Houston. I've had people had to go out and then down. So I'm really glad to see that we have so many different charter flight options for you in Punta Cana. That tends to be the place that at least Pittsburghers and Clevelanders tend to want to go to. So really glad that I've got so many different options available for you starting in May, which I know isn't going to help you for your spring break, but we can still get you down there. We'll just have to get you on some published air. Now, there are a few resorts that I wanted to highlight because there's so many, it's overwhelming. Not overwhelming to the point of the hotel zone on just Cancun and Riviera Maya. I mean, that's just absolutely mind-boggling when you start trying to look at that. But I did want to talk about a couple of the adult-only options. So Secrets Cap Cana is probably going to be one of the most popular that are there. And then, of course, there's the Excellence, and then there's the Hyatt Zilara. So if you are thinking about doing an adult-only trip, those are three resorts which I highly recommend. They tend to be, as long as they are available within the dates and they have the room categories that you're looking for, I generally will quote those out, at least one, if not all three, for you. And then if you have a family and you're thinking about going, you should check out Club Med Punta Cana, because let me tell you, this is an all-inclusive resort. In the Club Med, when they say all-inclusive, they mean all-inclusive. So they have golfing. And there's one thing that's really popular at Club Med in Punta Cana. They have golfing available. That's included with with your rate with your room. You've also got horseback riding and tennis and what's that new thing? Pickleball. I think they have pickleball there. Don't quote me on that one in particular, because the pickleball thing, I still don't know what it is. I'm like, why are you like throwing a pickle at a ball? Like, I got to figure that out. So add it to my list to research, right? There's also Grand Palladium, and I really, really like this property because Grand Palladium in Punta Cana, it's actually several Palladium resorts within one. So you've got one that's an adult only. Kids aren't going to be able to go over there. Then you've got a kid friendly, and then you have kind of a more budget friendly. And basically the way it works, or the reason why I like it, is if there's a large group family, which tends to be who I end up working with. I'll have these families that'll be like, okay, my brother's going to go with us. Him and his wife's going to need their own room, and then grandparents are going, and then we're going to need a bigger room because we've got 4 or 5 people in ours. So it's kind of nice to be able to go, okay, the brother and his wife, they don't have any kids. They're going to want to have some time away for themselves. Let's put them over here. Grandparents and my point of contact, maybe we're going to put them in the kid-friendly one, and we're going to try to make sure that the grandparents are next door so that mom and dad can have some time and grandparents can watch one night, that kind of a thing. So I really like that there's so many different options. It's a really great multi-generational property. And so I generally end up quoting that one more so than I would even realize. And it's so beautiful and it's so spacious. There's so many things to do, not just at the Grand Palladium in Punta Cana. There's also one in Cancun. But it's really nice to have all of these different features and these different amenities so that the families can spread out, do their own thing, and then also be able to come together and to be able to do some things together. So absolutely love that. Now, if you do have a family and you're like, oh my gosh, like my kids are nonstop all the time, I'm going to have to find something for them to do. They're not going to be sitting on the beach all the time, but they love the water. Check out some of the water parks. Punta Cana, they're not water parks like how I think of water parks. When I think water parks, I'm thinking Typhoon Lagoon or Volcano Bay. Volcano Bay is considered its own theme park. Like, that's how insane it is. So they're not going to be to that degree, but they're going to be more like your maybe Splash Lagoon in Erie, but outdoors, maybe your Kalahari, so, something along that line, but outdoors, obviously, because they don't have to have it inside. Royalton Splash Punta Cana is probably going to be your number one for something like that. That is an absolutely fantastic property. I have several families that will actually be going to that one just because they, of all of them that we talked about, that one's definitely going to fit the age range of kids that they have the most. So that's the one we went with. And then there's Nickelodeon Punta Cana. Now, I don't know about you, but do any of you have kids that are obsessed with SpongeBob? Do they want to go and stay in a pineapple? Like, that's something that could happen. It's just really cool that there's all of these different things that that you can do within Nickelodeon Punta Cana. There's a lot of options available. So that is another one that is really popular. Or maybe you grew up on Nickelodeon and you're like, I don't care. I want to go because I'm a big kid. And let's face it, I mean, that's how Scott and I end up going to 90% of our places, because we're like, ooh, I'm a big kid. I want to do that. So no judgment here if that ends up being what you guys want to do. So that's probably the other one that I would really recommend to anybody that's thinking about maybe going to the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana for an all-inclusive resort stay. So that is actually my list. How many was there? I didn't even count them all. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Yeah, there were 10. So I got through all 10 in about 34 minutes. That is absolutely insane. So glad that I was able to do that. And so if you guys have any spring break plans, please let me know what they are. I'm really curious what people's plans are for spring break this year. Just kind of curious because I mean, it really seems like us. That people traveling is really starting to expand and people are going to more and more places. People aren't as afraid, so they're like more willing to go and do things. So I'm really curious to see what your guys' plans are for the spring break 2024 season. And if you haven't thought of something yet, by all means, reach out to me. Let me see what kind of last minute deals I can get. I can definitely hook you up with that. Have to talk to your travel agent. Yes, Scott, you do. But yeah, definitely let me know. I'm really excited to kind of hear what you guys are thinking, what you guys might want to do. Then we can go ahead and we can get that booked for you so that you guys can have an amazing spring break vacation. Because let me tell you, the past 3 years, everybody deserves a fantastic spring break vacation. Am I right? So let's make that happen for you. Again, if you are interested in reaching out to me, you can reach me, Megan at plumcrazyadventures.com. You can send me a DM through our social medias. We are available on Facebook and Instagram. You can also get a hold of me through Threads. I'm not on there as much, but I do get notifications, push notifications to my phone for anybody that does reach out to me on there. And then if you're on YouTube, definitely just send me a quick email. My email's Megan at plumcrazyadventures.com. Again, in case you didn't get it the first time. But with all that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up because I told you guys I wanted to try to keep these small. And I do hope that if anybody hasn't been, later peeps, if anybody hasn't, please by all means hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button so that you know when we upload new videos on our YouTube channel. There goes my train. I could not get through an episode without a train. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. I tried, and it was a short train too. It was only 2 engines. But by all means, definitely follow along on our social media so that you see what we're doing. And as always, are you guys ready for your next Plum Crazy adventure? Because I know I am ready to get you there. Maybe even in a hot air balloon. Night, everybody.